Alright, here we go.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Hi guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I've been having some time off, as you probably have noticed. I went from relentless uploading multiple times a day to not uploading at all. I did let you guys know via social media and indeed also on the YouTube community page. Without going into any detail, I guess I got burnt out a little bit, and this isn't necessarily me being back, or certainly not at the level I was before in terms of maybe how much content I'm putting out there. But Chelsea have done a lot of things in the few days that I've been away. So even if I'm not back to daily uploads, and certainly not multiple uploads a day, I wanted to just upload this video to explain my thoughts on what's been happening. So I thank you for your patience and your continued support of the channel. You can show me that by liking and subscribing. I will continue to work on the channel, so if you want to join me on the journey, please do subscribe and hit the bell notifications icon. Alright then, let's get into it. So Chelsea have announced 3 footballers, 3 players since I've been away, and all in different positions. A midfielder, a central defender, and what? A goalkeeper. That could have different implications and ramifications. The fact that Chelsea have bought yet another player from Brighton. Yes, the Brighton saga and story goes on. But Chelsea are not done yet. Of course, they still do want to buy Moises Caicedo. God, I've not missed talking about that dude every friggin' day. And Chelsea are still looking to buy an attacking midfielder slash winger. Michael Olise's name has come up again in the headlines, someone who I really like and I would like at Chelsea or return to Chelsea. What an excellent young player he is, and another Frenchman. We are turning into a very l'équipe de française, lots of people from France. So let's start off with the midfielder, Leslie Ubichukwu. Right, Leslie, 19 years old. I'm going to put his transfer marked graphic up in front of my face now. As you can see, 19 years old, he's a French Nigerian. He's predominantly a defensive midfielder, but can play in the general midfield and has a right foot on him. Don't worry, he also has a left foot, but what I mean is he's right footed. So Chelsea have actually signed him on a 7+1 year deal, so his current deal goes up to 2030 and Chelsea have an option to extend, so we will see his prime of his career remain on the Chelsea books. Now, is he going to remain at Chelsea? Is he going to go away to Strasbourg? I think he will probably be loaned away. Mauricio Pochettino has pretty much inferred that much. He was saying, well, we'll have a look at him, but we don't know. Maybe it's best for his development, you know, if he goes elsewhere. Usually when a manager says that, it's pretty much saying, I don't want to give the game away, I'm not going to tell you what we're doing, but be prepared for essentially what we're doing. So yeah, I mean, Gallagher's looking better and better in pre-season. I did watch the last game of pre-season against Dortmund. He does look impressive. We will probably buy a midfielder. I don't know, man, should we get our primary main target of Caicedo, or indeed just a high-profile central defensive midfielder? I feel like the best path for Leslie is to go out on loan, develop, and then maybe come back. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, good signing by all accounts. He's another one of those excellent young talents to come through French football, essentially. They're just making so many gems at the moment. So good signing, good signing. Let's move on. Next up, we've signed another Frenchman, Axel Diagne. That's right, of course, Wesley Fofana's long-term ACL injury has dictated this scenario. This is what made us go and buy another starting centre-back for the right-hand side, and Axel is our boy, formerly the defensive partner of Benoit Badiashile, of course, Chelsea's relatively new French centre-back as well. Another one. Hold on, in the back line now, we have many a Frenchman. We've got Benoit, we've got Axel, we've got Malo Gusto. Of course, you got Leslie in front of him, you got Christopher Nkunku, we might get Michael Olise. Just France everywhere, and I like it. J'aime bien. Anyway, you can have a look at Axel's transfer marked graphic in front of me now. As you can see, 25 years old, in his prime. He is a strong, tall chap, 1.9 meters. He is right-footed to play on the right-hand side. He has actually played as a right-back, as well as playing both centre-back positions. Now, this is helpful because he can maybe do a touch of the Trevor Chalobah, who may well still be sold in this transfer window. Play it in the centre-back position, but if someone goes forward, if Reece James advances in front of you, if Malo Gusto gets forward, you can tuck in, occupy that right back space, and keep essentially the team defended well. Also as well, if you need him to do a job there, you can bring on another centre back. If you're trying to like stink up a game that you've got 1 goal ahead and you just desperately want the points in the Premier League campaign, you stick a centre back at right back and just say, don't let anyone past you, bro. Win all aerial duels, my friend. We signed him for about 38 million quid, which is about right. right? Is that similar to Benoit Badiashile? Maybe a little bit more. He's a little bit older than Badiashile. Yeah, a good signing. Very, very old school. We've got height, we've got strength in the back line again. He can pass as well. It just seems like a good player. The one thing in common out of these three signings that have been announced, Ubichukwu, Axel Diagne, and of course Robert Sanchez, despite all being different, well, non-English nationalities, they all speak English fluently, which helps in terms of integration into the squad immediately. And of course Sanchez has Premier League experience as well. We'll speak about him in just a second. But what are the ramifications for poor Wesley Fofana? Because we've signed an expensive centre-back here in his prime in Axel, so he'll be looking to start the season, maybe hopefully play straight away. Maybe Thiago Silva will have the starting spot early doors, but perhaps as time goes on, maybe he will finally age and you'll see the centre-back partnership of Axel and Levi maybe. I do think Levi will be good to go off the bat because of course Benoit, the aforementioned French centre-back we also bought from Monaco, has injury issues going into the season, so you could see a back four essentially of Reece James, Axel, Levi Colwill, of course Ben Chilwell as well. But there could be times when three of our back four could be all French internationals, which is quite exciting. You know, some of the greatest Chelsea players are French. It's keeping the culture alive. So I'm excited to see him. You know, Chelsea hopefully have done the appropriate thing in scouting these players and gone, right, how is Pochettino playing? How can we fill his needs? You know, Wesley Fofana is a fantastic player. You guys know I love him. I've always, you know, I won't give up hope on him. I think he's an incredible player that hopefully will come back from this injury and can still find the great heights of his capacity. But in the meantime, you know, we don't know if Pochettino saw him as the ideal profile for his football. Maybe he sees Axel Diagne as just that and thinking, right, I want a centre-back. Who can you get? Well, we can get this guy for you, Poch. Sounds good to me. He suits my football. You know, he's been playing at a high level for a long time. He's right in the slot in terms of development. He's 25. He's got experience. He's good to go. Alright then, let's move on and talk about our new goalkeeper that we signed out of nowhere seemingly, or maybe it's just me because I've not been checking social media really, and that is Robert Sanchez of Brighton. Right, before we talk about the ramifications about this, it should be relatively simple. Let's take a look at this transfer market graphic. As you can see, 25 years old, probably yet to enter his prime as a goalkeeper. He's right-footed and he is ruddy tall, 1.97 metres, nearly 2 metres tall. We've signed on a 7-year deal, which is a long deal for a goalkeeper that's 25 years old, but then again Chelsea are probably recognising that goalkeepers go on for a little bit longer than outfield players, so they'll probably feel like they're still locking down his prime. Now, let's talk about this. Robert Sanchez for a while was one of the more, you know, highly regarded Premier League goalkeepers, but Roberto De Zerbi came into Brighton and just didn't fancy him. He brought in 32-year-old Steele to play above him because he's better with his feet. Ooh, it gives me Edouard Mendy vibes. But then again, Robert Sanchez came in to replace Matty Ryan in goal for Graham Potter because he was better with his feet. So he can't be that bad with his feet, can he? Well, that's what everyone's saying. It's also worth mentioning that we still have our goalkeeping coach from Brighton that we've kept, you know, in our staff after Graham Potter left. He will know Sanchez very, very well. Now, does this matter that much? Because we spent £20 million on Robert Sanchez, and yes, we've bought him as a backup to Kepa. He's not a replacement for Kepa, but he's a good keeper that maybe if Kepa goes on one of his weird seasons again, touch wood he doesn't, then you've got a Premier League proven-ish goalkeeper to come in, and one that has worked with our current goalkeeping staff that will feel he could hopefully find his best form again. And you know, we've got so many goalkeeping coaches now, maybe they all feel collectively, we can make Sanchez great again. But, you know, let's not read too much into this. He cost 20 million plus add-ons. Will he reach those add-ons? That might have sort of dictate him actually playing as a first-team goalkeeper. 20 million, backup keeper, 25 years old, Premier League experience. To be honest, it's a good signing in that sense. And now we're done. Bettinelli remains third. Sanchez is second goalkeeper, challenging and backing up and deputising behind first choice Kepa Arrizabalaga, who apparently Pochettino does actually really like. So, 3 good signings. all cost money, relevant sums, but that was always going to happen to buy these particular profile of players. Pochettino will be happy that he's got that right centre-back. He will be happy that he's got that good option at goalkeeper, so he'll feel like it's sorted. He's got the arsenal to, go forward and attack the Premier League. Ubichukwu will probably go on loan. Who knows, maybe he does like amazing things in the coming days and ends up staying. And we've been linked again with Michael Olise. So the Premier League starts in like a week's time, even less than that now, I believe. Tomorrow is the Cherry Shield, isn't it? Or the Community Shield, whatever you call it now. Football's happening very, very quickly. It just comes back so quickly, doesn't it? Alright, so Michael Olise, of course, he's currently injured. We've spoken about him here on the channel before. Young Frenchman, once of the Chelsea Academy. Very, very exciting young talent. Tore up in the Championship, came to Crystal Palace. He was one of the sort of two exciting Championship signings they made. Of course, they got Eze as well, who's very, very exciting. Olise, and sort of caught fire at the end of last season when, incidentally, and rather strangely, Roy Hodgson came back in and ignited his fire, which just didn't seem like that's the way round things should have happened. Still, amazing player. There are certain reports online suggesting that he would prefer to join Chelsea over Manchester City. Now, this is hard to believe because Manchester City are, of course, treble winners that play in the Champions League, that are coached by the world's best coach in Pep Guardiola. So you put all that together and you're like, why do you prefer to come to Chelsea? Right, maybe, let's play devil's advocate here. Firstly, he was at Chelsea before. Does that have any connection? Almost certainly not. Maybe staying in London does, as he doesn't want to go up to live in Manchester. There is maybe something to that. But also, if we are making the point for Chelsea over Manchester City, and this is probably the only thing we have that we can make this case, is he looks at the project, he looks at his likelihood to play, and he looks at Calvin Phillips. Now, I know that there's attackers have gone, Mahrez has gone, that's why they're looking at Michael Olise. But is he just going to come and play? Maybe, I don't know, maybe he will. Maybe he won't though. Maybe he won't get an absolute sniff. Foden will come in and play that position and he will turn into Calvin Phillips on the bench and ultimately never play. If he has that perspective, that will bode well for Chelsea. We'll have to see what happens there. But he's another player that's been linked to Chelsea. Of course, we've been linked to Mohamed Kudus. I haven't been completely on the ball with keeping up to the latest headlines every second over the internet or social media. I'm trying to sort of stay zen at the moment and distance myself as much as possible. So these stories are largely what I'm getting from Chelsea themselves, of course, of the three aforementioned announced players. And Michael Olise, because I did see a headline, and he's a player that I do really like. And should he come to Chelsea over Man City, and we don't pay like incredible amounts for him, that would feel like a really good signing. Alright guys, so let me know what you think. Like I said, this doesn't mean I'm back every day uploading again. That momentum will pick up eventually, so make sure you do like and subscribe if you want to support the content. And I want to thank you for continuing to support me. Yeah, we'll be honest, I did suffer a little bit of burnout, and I got countless lovely messages on both the YouTube community page and indeed on my Instagram DM requests. You can follow me at Football Yannick. Alright, I'll see you guys very soon. Well, quite soon. Peace.